This is our video for lesson 7.1, adding and subtracting polynomials. This lesson has a lot of vocabulary in it, and the first part of this focuses on that. So as you're learning this, please make sure you pay attention to that. Our first assignment with this is a quiz that is designed to help you focus on that vocabulary and learn that vocabulary. So what is a polynomial? So polynomial is a compound word. That first part, poly meaning many, and then nomial meaning terms. And terms are the things separated by addition or subtraction. So for example, this is a polynomial because we have 3 terms. Okay, so everything separated by addition or subtraction is considered a term. So 1, 2, 3 terms. And we actually have names for polynomials based on how many terms there are. So if there is only one term, it is considered a monomial, mono being 1. An example would be just 3x. Binomial is 2, bi meaning 2, and that would be 3x plus 5. So I've got 2 things separated by addition. 3 terms is called a trinomial, similar to what we saw up above. Okay, so this up here is also a trinomial. The other part of this we're going to talk about is degrees. So the degree of a polynomial is based on how many variables there are. So for example, 0 degree would be just numbers. First degree is a single variable. Second degree would be 2 variables, and that can be a single one squared, like x squared, or it could be 2 variables separately, so like xy. So our first task is to just find the degree of these. X squared, that's 2 variables, so that's second degree. I've got 1x and 3 y's, so this would be 4th degree. 3 x's and 3 y's, so that's 6th degree. And just a number, so that is a 0 degree polynomial. Obviously, you're going to want to practice this. Make sure you take a little more time. I'm going through this very quickly to look back at these examples. All right, example 2, we are writing in standard form. We're going to identify the degree and the leading coefficient. Again, more vocabulary. So standard form means I'm going to write it in order with the highest degree first down to the lowest. So, for example, this first term is a first degree. Second term is a third degree. And this is a 0 degree. So when we rewrite this in standard form, we're going to put this third degree term first, our first degree term second, and our 0 degree term third. So that's what we did right here. It also asked us to, I don't know if it asked us to do this or not, but it is 3 terms, so we would call that a trinomial. So in standard form, we put that third degree first, first degree, then 0. Second part of this is leading coefficient, so that is the number in front of the highest degree term. So when we put it in standard form, we want the number that's in front of this term. In this case, there is no number, but that means we would consider it a 1, and in this case, that would be a negative 1, because there's a negative sign out front. So, classifying polynomials, put it in standard form, identify the degree, classify. This would be one to just maybe kind of pause, and if you've got the paper in your hand, try to do these on your own, and then come back and just check your work. Okay? So I'll just leave this here. We already talked about this. This is something you can check on your own. Number 4, adding polynomials. So this is basically just combining like terms. We've done this in the past. Just now it's a little bit different because we have exponents involved. So something to note when we add the exponents. So if we look at this first one, kind of ignore what's down below for just a second. Notice I've got 2x to the third, and then I've got a negative 5x squared even though those are both x's, we would say those are not like terms. I can only combine them if the variable is raised to the same power. So for example, I've got a 2x to the third here and a 2x, whoops, that's not what I can combine. There's the x to the third, there's a 2x to the third. So in a second we'll talk about those I can combine. These are both squared terms. That's going to have to stay by itself because it's a first degree, and then that's a 0 degree. When we add these polynomials, it's basically just combining everything together, right? Everything's going to keep the same sign that it has. I could just rewrite this, and that's what I've done down below. So I've got my 2x to the third minus 5x squared plus x, but now I'm going to plus 2x squared plus x to the third and minus 1. And then we're going to combine those things that we can. And I underlined like terms in the same color. So I've got 2x third and I've got 1x to the third. So 2 plus 1 is 3x to the third. Then I've got my second degree terms. If I've got a negative 5x squared, and you've got to take that sign that's in front of it right with it. So I've got negative 5, and then I've got plus 2x squared. If I combine those, I would end up with a total of negative 3x squared. I've only got the one first degree term, so that just stays. And then I've got one 0 degree term, so that stays as well. So again, the second one, I would try that one on your own, and then come back and check here. And here's what you would end up with in that second example. And final example here, subtracting polynomials. So this is very similar to addition. The only difference is if I've got this whole thing and I subtract this other whole thing, you kind of have to think of it as distributing this negative sign, right? So if I have minus a negative 2n, remember subtracting a negative is the same as adding that 2n squared. And if we subtract a positive 2n, so we're subtracting a positive, that's the same as subtracting 2n. And again, with the subtracting a negative becomes the same as adding. And you can really just think of, if I have this negative out front, if I'm subtracting everything in here, I'm just going to change every sign. So that negative becomes a plus, plus becomes minus, minus becomes a plus. Whereas in addition, all the signs just stay the same. So I rewrote it here, just having that sign change, and then I combine like terms to get our final answer.